Nope. Too outspoken. Say what you mean what you say.
Make sure you framed up, champ.
Off. Pretty damn good Super Bowl.
The joke was 30. The joke was 30. He did what he needed to do. It was a little concerning, a little shaky. I don't know how you was feeling in the first half, but he got to where he needed to get to.
Y'all being nice, but it's cool though.
Before we get into these introductions, I'm Cordell.
Marcus.
He brought.
Deuce.
See that.
You can shot.
I
It's
can't.
okay.
I can't.
He in such a
I
mood
understand.
and he didn't want to introduce himself because it's like he on cloud 9 right
No, it was
No,
just like I can't get over the deuce.
Deuce.
Like,
No one calls him that,
yeah,
right?
like you're known as like I've done a great job campaigning that your nickname is actually Sweet to go
And I
along with your
don't-
own username.
I don't know why you would campaign.
You got me calling him that.
Yeah, like
Crazy.
I think some people did. Like you're known as Sweet now.
Oh,
Like
man.
Sweet
It
Three.
is my IG name. It'd be like that.
Oh man.
It'd be like I did it to myself.
You did it to yourself.
What you gonna do?
Yeah,
Now look at
I thought in high school it rhymed. I thought it was cool. It was right there.
Now it's stuck.
Well, no, it wasn't stuff.
But now
It was.
But now you're grown.
So then what? Yeah. I was thinking of the brand stay consistent.
Now that's a short. That's a YouTube
That's crazy.
short. That's a short. I want to see that. I want to see that.
What is called that sweet? Oh, we can do that.
That's a YouTube short right there.
Oh man.
Make something shake.
To it. So again, real slow.
Oh,
Real.
man.
I don't even know what the score was at halftime. What was it?
10 to 3. 10 to 3.
10-3. So wasn't looking too hot, but I mean, I wasn't stressed personally.
I'll say this. It was definitely one of the most disappointing first halves in Super Bowl history. At the very least.
Damn.
It was. It was.
What was the Super Bowl that the Patriots
You said one of. I say one of.
But I,
Which one? Patriots Rams?
Rams.
yeah,
Yeah. That's it.
2018, 2019.
But I
3-3 at half.
But I felt like in this one, with so much offensive firepower on both sides of the ball, for it to be literally just only 10-point score between both teams going into that, like that's a little disappointing, man.
I wasn't disappointed. I was only just disappointed in Drake Greenlaw for real. I feel like he was doing too much. Just where I was at.
It's so unnecessary.
Oh, it's not a jab. I was disappointed. It's like we want to see you on the field, and you could see the energy and how he was affecting his defense. The first drive after y'all got the ball from Christian McCaffrey, you seen Dre Greenlaw was screaming every single play. He was doing it on the sideline, just jumping up and down.
He's doing too much.
He's doing too much. That's all, man.
Kick
He's
a
doing too
man.
much.
Just kick a man while he down.
Not kicking him. Yeah, what do you mean kicking him when you down? See, look,
That's not
you.
right.
You set him.
What are y'all doing?
For him, not me. Unbelievable.
Put him like that. This man is just trying to rehab.
Nah, I mean, because it's Super Bowl that happened.
It's not only is in the Super Bowl, but it's
He's
been
back, like
running
That's
onto the
Arkansas.
field.
So
It wasn't as if it happened or it occurred when he was trying to tackle Isaiah Pacheco. It happened because you jogged onto.
No, it happened.
No.
Shot.
Now,
You are taking.
Hey, look,
Job.
he was too pumped. He was so pumped. He messed up his Achilles.
I don't
Man,
know what
it's
type
just-
smelling salt
I mean,
the
it's
boy
just-
was on.
That's disappointing.
That's just a freak injury, though.
It is.
Yeah, it's just like it's just tough.
How we feeling?
Yeah, I mean, I guess to the first half point to stay on topic. Me personally, even though like first of all the Chiefs got whooped in the first half, I think it wasn't even close as far as the line of scrimmages. I think shout out to Purdy, his ability to come out and not really make a mistake. I was banking on the fact of like, hey, maybe not in the first quarter, but in the second quarter, we're gonna get a pick off of him because he was shaky against the Packers starting off, and the Lions starting off. And so I'm thinking like, oh, okay, this Super Bowl, we're gonna get Mahomes. He gonna give us something. You know what I'm saying? The only mistake that happened came from McCaffrey. Like if there was a betting odds on who would make a turnover first, Christian McCaffrey or Brock Purdy, I think how many people was in America? Probably 95% of them would have said Purdy. So for me, I like the first half because I like
Let alone
I,
Purdy
I,
versus Mahomes.
yeah, I like
He left too.
football. I don't like all that scoring. I like defense. I like hard hitting. I like a game of inches because I feel like it's gonna set up for a better ending. Like if the Chiefs was up 17-3, yeah, I'll be excited, but this kind of takes away the excitement. It's like, okay, you're kind of comfortable. Or if the 49ers are up big, it's kind of like the only excitement there would be like, okay, can Mahomes come back? Like that would only be the saving grace. So I like the gritty offense can't move the ball.
Points
Niggas got you. I mean, dudes got to figure it out. My bad. Sorry. Like that was my energy. My bad. Like y'all better got to figure this out. Like, and it's just like, yeah, like just seeing how McCaffrey was working. Like, because I'm watching how I'm starting to watch the games more is a line of scrimmage and like those key. So that's why I like Josh Allen. Like I know I ride him a lot. I've been on the show. Is these star players and how they can control the game, just um staying ahead of the sticks. Like McCaffrey does a lot of times. We take bubble screens and he'll be 3 yards behind line of scrimmage. I'm thinking we finna tackle him one cut and he's falling forward for 2 yards. And like it's not a big deal in most of the eyes looking at second and 8. But I'm looking at the game like, bro, you not realize this dude should have been second and 13 to second and 12, and he's falling forward. The way he was running in the line of scrimmages of both teams in the first half was good. So the first half was like, from a Chiefs fan perspective, it was awful. I was like, man, but like going out of,
At least offensively.
like offensively, it was like, okay, like thank God we went down 10-3. Like, thank God. This would be a lot worse. But from a football fan perspective, I love that. Like, dudes is talking, it's physical. Like I like that. So I'm just different as far as what I like.
Yeah, I'd say like for me for the first half, I think that, obviously the 49ers dominated in my eyes, but I also think that both teams didn't really capitalize on the opportunities the other teams gave them.
Right.
With the fumble that Pacheco had in the red zone, obviously the McCaffrey fumble,
Right.
like it's like those little things, it's like, oh, okay, like a team could have jumped on that, but neither team kind of did.
Right.
So it's just one of those things where it's just like, okay, like, they're feeling each other out. And I guess pause, maybe. I don't know. Anyways,
no pause.
go, man.
I'm so proud of you, man.
But
You done did, bro.
But I think at the end of the day, it was just one of those matchups where you're just like, hey, like nobody's really trying to make a mistake,
Right.
and they're not trying to go, all in or make that crazy play. And I think that's probably what contributed to the fact that it was a slow start. Is because both teams know, okay, like there's another good team in front of you. Like you make a few mistakes and they capitalize on it. Like
The
that can be
moments.
game.
Not to mention, I think I know these teams don't have yearly history like division rivals do as far as playing each other. So when it comes to the level of familiarity, you can question it. I get it, but it still feels as if these teams kind of sort of knew the ins and outs of each other a little bit, the way that they were being played in the first half, and it's still. But even with that being the case, coming into a game where you got arguably I don't even think there's an argument. Coming into the game where you have the best quarterback in the league,
Yeah,
arguably the best tight end in the league,
right.
Arguably the best running back in the league, along with Debo, along with Ayuk, along with George Kittle.
Weaponry was crazy.
It was everywhere. So it wasn't as if it was, a deficiency on either side, but it's more so like, man, I expected more than just this type of slow trotting game going along. And early on, it was a little disappointing. I'll be honest.
But it's
from my perspective.
But it's those. I think it's those defenses, man. I think a position that I think that people are starting to appreciate now more because some of those bigger market teams like the Eagles, the Cowboys, how the Bills lost because their linebacker crew is good, and that's what I'm going with. But some of these bigger teams that have a great quarterback or a great team overall, you talking about, and we talked about Dre Greenlaw off camera a little bit before it started, but you got Dre Greenlaw, Fred Warner, best linebacker duo in the NFL, and Fred Warner's terrific.
Fair.
Nick Bowen, Willie Gay, Leo Chanel, great linebacker group. They're not a Fred Warner, Dre Greenlaw, great linebacker group. And so I think those defenses from, that front seven is phenomenal where it's going to be very, very hard to really move the ball when you got dogs like that. And then 49ers, they got an all-pro corner. And it might be because of the system and what the front seven does, but you got a Tre'Davious Ward on the outside.
Right.
So you're going against Valdez Scanlon or whoever else he's going against. That's over with, right? And then you look at the Chiefs secondary, you got an all-pro and first-team all-pro in McDuffie. And Snead.
A guy in Snead.
That's
underrated.
Underrated
safety and Custody
make a play on Debo in the end zone. You see him show up in the moment.
And these corners literally played this same corner group went through the same postseason run last year.
Yeah.
So I think it's just tough to where I think man, those defenses was like, I mean, they were flying,
They were-
especially when Trey Greenlaw was on the field.
Plus,
I'm like,
I
God
also think
dang.
having 2 weeks to prepare for a team
Right.
helps
That's
because
key.
usually
Good
it's
point.
like, okay,
Good
like
point.
you only have a week, so you can't go through everything. But with 2 weeks, they probably went deep dive into
Right.
everything that each other does. And I
Correct.
think that
Correct.
probably made it, a little bit easier to be able to say, okay, like we know what you're gonna do, we know how to defend this. You got to come up with something different, make those.
The prep time definitely different.
Yeah.
But even to your point about the trenches, C-Mac, you saw. I noticed the shift once Trent Williams got ran over by not Chris Jones. When
Oh boy.
when y'all's other defensive tackle ran Trent over, I was like, oh, okay, this is a different energy. We should see a different Chiefs show up in the trenches, and you saw the line of scrimmage shift for y'all in terms of hitting them in the backfield, in terms of negative plays and impacting how they played the game and how they had to call plays to try and overcome y'all putting them behind the
Yeah,
sticks.
defense, man. I feel like, bro, like this whole year, I've appreciated this form of football all year because I feel like defense has really risen this year. Like I think the lead leader in passing was around 4,600.
I don't think anybody cracked
Nah,
5,000.
4,600. Yeah, that was
Like,
crazy.
Yeah, I
yeah, I
don't think
don't know the exact numbers, but I
anybody
don't
cracked
think
5,000.
like there wasn't like
46.
Yeah.
crazy like 5,000. Nobody cracked it. There wasn't like 2 or 3 people cracking 5,000. It wasn't like Tyreek was on pace to get like the 2,000, but it kind of took off a little bit. It wasn't like a whole bunch of receivers went super crazy. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, man, it was a balanced league, and I appreciated it because a sport that I really loved, the NBA, to me is watered down now. And I think maybe because I'm experiencing more because of what I do and watching games more, but it's watered down versus I feel like NFL is more balanced.
It's interesting because we did, coming into the season, of course, there was a ton of hoopla and things of that nature. But as the season progressed, we saw that scoring went down
Right.
to an extent because defenses, pretty much got to about the halfway point of the season where we realized defenses are starting to catch up a little bit. And I'll give you that. But to see it in the Super Bowl
Yeah.
with this amount of playmakers, at least on the offensive side of the ball, it's just from my viewpoint, I was a little let down.
Or the question is though, like I think with the 49ers, I think the 49ers playmakers were a little overrated outside of McCaffrey.
Mm.
And I'm not saying I'm saying as a group, I feel like they were marketed as like monsters, like, oh my God, they're almost undefensible. And I'm like, okay, but Debo's more of like a crosser. He's more of a slant. Like he gets scheme more.
Isn't Kelsey kind of sort of deemed the same way? As one of those, like, man,
I think Kelsey.
covering him
I
is
think Kelsey has been proven. Even like the movie did on Fred Warner, on that ISO, we just whipped his head and got across the face of Fred Warner.
correct.
I think Kelsey has moments like that throughout the game where he can just go nuclear. And Kelsey's done a little bit more in his career. But I'm saying as a group where it's like we weren't hyping those playmakers of the Lions like we were hyping up of the 49ers. I think it's because of what we have propelled the 49ers to be. And they've been great, but they haven't won. And we put so much juice in what they were, but it's like the Lions had Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery. That was just you put them two together. In a lot of ways, that was almost impactful, just as impactful as McCaffrey. They had just equals a quarterback. They had a Jameson Williams. They had a Amar St. Brown, who I think was a better pure receiver out of all those guys. But we weren't talking about those playmakers like that. But with the 49ers, we look at them as like, oh my God, like this is almost unguardable. And I don't think that was the case.
The problem with that is because of inexperience. We never seen Amon
Okay,
Ra
yeah.
and Jameson
Right.
Williams in any type of playoff setting up to that point.
Right,
We
right.
saw them in 2 games
Yeah, that's
leading
true.
up to that.
That's
so that's where there's the gap right
Yeah.
there. Now, I will say, when it comes to Debo and Kittle and Ayuk, McCaffrey did what he could.
He did.
McCaffrey was still a factor. Although you can still, the way the game played out, you can definitely look at that fumble on the opening drive of the game and say, man, you know what? If only they were able to get a field goal there. And it could have been a completely different
Or a
outcome.
touchdown.
Or a touchdown, yeah. But with Samuel, with Ayuk, with Kittle, those guys, the fact that they were able to be contained
Mm.
for the entire game was very impressive. And it was something that it was stated upon when it comes to the Chiefs. But honestly, I'll be honest with you. Coming into this game, C-Mac, I looked at the Chiefs defense and said, man, they're good, but
Mm. Yeah.
And just what they were able to do with that threesome there, it kind of sort of it definitely changed that statement.
I think a lot of people were sleeping on that, and I think I was trying to tell that to Marcus when we had a heated debate about the weakness. Like what I'm saying, like we were talking about this is like the weakest team, Mahomes, or the weakest Chiefs team. And what I was saying is, yes, offensively, it's not the same.
Y'all
Like
had
it's
no 1,000-yard rusher, no 1,000-yard receiver.
well,
That's
we also didn't have that last year. 'Cause I think Juju was like 900, 938.
What did Kelsey have?
Okay, Kelsey. Okay, if you want to say Kelsey,
Kelsey.
okay, fine,
No, but
whatever.
Kelsey didn't get 1,000 this year.
Yeah, but he had like 930,
Yeah,
930.
him and Rasheed both had 940.
Fair, whatever. Okay, sure.
Even we haven't seen an overwhelming, like we've seen CD and Tyreek have all the yards, and everybody else has
Yeah.
kind of been in the middle of the pack. Just in
Yeah,
terms of
right. So
how people getting their buckets.
I'm saying like this was a dangerous Chiefs team because I was always trying to tell them I think people just thought because the weaponry wasn't what the Patrick Mahomes played a different way that allowed them to think this is a weak Chiefs team. And I was like, hey, bro, you got a defense that's saying I think it's the first defense. They didn't give up at least 28 points the entire year. Nobody scored at least 28 points in them the entire year. And I kept trying to tell you guys, you got a great player like Mahomes, great play caller like Reed that can make some magic happen for either a touchdown or a couple touchdowns where you're going to get a couple of scoring opportunities off of that. You got a defense that's saying, hey, you're probably not going to score more than 25-ish points. Mahomes will get 3 touchdowns to win a game. That's hard to contain for 4 quarters. That's dangerous. And Mahomes has never had that. And that's what wins championships because we give a lot of praise to Brady. Brady's first Super Bowl win he accounted for 1 touchdown pass. We didn't really see Brady go crazy until his 3rd Super Bowl and really into 06, 07 when he kind of developed to where he was in year 7, year 8. But he always had it to it. Even the Super Bowls he lost to the Giants. Like they scored 17 points, bro. Like they lost. He had Randy Moss and them dudes, but the defense on the other side only gave up. They only gave up 17 points.
And Eli has 2 of the greatest plays in NFL history.
My whole
under his
thing
belt.
was,
Cussing.
I respected your defense,
mm-hmm.
but I felt like if we, obviously this was earlier in the season, if we went head to head with you,
Right.
I feel like I can put up 25, 27 points on you.
Who's your quarterback?
And I felt, yes, I know.
No, but I want you to state for the people. Who's your quarterback?
Josh Allen.
Okay.
Right? But I was like, and I feel like I have a defense who can keep your weapons in wrap and keep you under 25 points. That was my logic. In this game in particular, I felt like your defense, I had y'all winning by 20. Well, let me just start.
Why?
Only, but
You didn't put that in the door, did you? Wow.
Team,
because of the quarterback.
You guys.
Wow.
Because of the quarterback.
Like you got to be able to contain anything that Purdy would throw at you.
Who had a good game.
Good.
Right. So when I say that I was surprised at this game and how it unfolded, it was because I was surprised on anything that the Chiefs defense was doing.
Absolutely.
I was expecting y'all to shut this team down. It was the other side that I was not expecting the Chiefs to also get shut down. That was the disappointing part for me. Everything else went how I expected.
There's one quarterback that can overcome our defense and put us on our heels. And I really, truly, we saw the best quarterback performance we've seen this year against the Chiefs was what he did in Buffalo. And that's why I was so confident going into Baltimore. It's not that I'm trying to hear the parade on Lamar. I think once Lamar believes and understands who he truly is as a talent, he's going to skyrocket. Because, hey, stop trying to prove what the media wants you to put. I don't give a dang what none of these shows are talking about or whatever. If you see open field and you run a 4-3, take off. So I'm not here to parade on Lamar, but I knew he didn't believe in himself yet. But with Allen and because in Allen's mind, Allen believes, even after we saw last night, Josh Allen believes he's the best quarterback on the field when he plays Mahomes. Any other quarterback that plays against him, I don't think they believe that. So I think you already walking in defeated. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't think Lamar was a little bit tighter? You know what I'm saying? Purdy for a fact know that he's not better than Mahomes. I'm not here to even shit on. Parade on Purdy. But it's just like
he knew what it was, and he played his role to his credit. Like he had moments where he showed us okay, I know, boom, it's time for me to take off. Okay, let me create a little extra time. Boom, hit Kyle use check for the first down.
Man, God
I
damn.
mean, to be honest, when we talk about, and this is just the Chiefs in totality for their season, the only teams that they lost to where you can say like that quarterback did as well as, if not better than Mahomes on that specific day was Jared Goff, Jordan Love, and Josh Allen. Jared Goff in that first game, to his credit,
He played well.
He played well, and he didn't make mistakes that we normally thought he would make at the time.
Yep.
So that's just one of those things where it's just like, as a game manager,
he helped control the tempo in that game.
He did enough to win that game.
Yep.
And that like I said, he just did enough, or if not better than Mahomes.
Yep.
So for him, he just did enough.
Absolutely, yeah.
Jordan Love, I think Jordan Love outplayed Mahomes.
Yes.
Against Packers Chiefs, I think.
Correct.
I think Jordan Love had a great day, and we kind of saw, okay, this is a different Jordan Love that we saw in the beginning of the season.
He put up 27.
Yeah, and he ended up for the rest of the season being what he was,
right.
and that's why we say he's the Packers franchise quarterback.
Technically,
and then
Russ also outplayed Mahomes in that game with the 3 touchdowns. Mahomes 2 picks, but go ahead.
Did he get benched like 3 weeks later? No, I ain't gonna throw it.
He did outplay him.
What you're saying about, you used a great word of game manager. I don't believe moving forward, especially on an NFC perspective, because it's not going to be Mahomes every single year. It's not. Like, it's not. So moving forward with the quarterback play of the AFC, the guys that are going to make the Super Bowl are all like game breakers, not game managers. Mahomes, game breaker. Allen, game breaker. Lamar, game breaker. CJ Stroud, I believe, will develop into a game breaker. Joe Burrow, game breaker. Like, you're not going to beat Mahomes being a game manager. And if you are a game manager, your team better be hellified. But we saw one of the most hellified teams in this 49ers team, and it still wasn't good enough.
So I picked that up with Brady. When we watched Brady, especially in the Super Bowl, the times that he lost, what did the other quarterback had to do? They had to outplay him.
And that's a game breaker. Like, Nick Foles before, like a game breaker.
Bro, I was going to say,
Eli,
but in those games, to that, Eli didn't outplay him until the last drive of the game.
But he made Eli,
but it took,
he made the best of his life.
It took to under 3 minutes in the fourth quarter for him to do that. There's a complete difference there.
So you said he didn't do it until the last 3 minutes, but in those games, Brady wasn't doing anything. So technically, they were still on the same.
I don't want to sit here and say he outplayed Brady. I just want to say for that day he had better moments than Brady. That's it. I'm not going to say he outplayed.
He had to.
Then tell me something that he did in the first 3.5 quarters of that game.
It didn't matter. Because what did Brady do in the first 3 quarters
of
the game? Because both
tell me something that Eli did in the first 3 quarters, 3.5 quarters of that game.
Both guys weren't doing.
I'm just saying that
I can show you when Purdy was making plays in the first, even just keeping drives alive.
What if we can't? But what if we, Marcus, though?
We say that Purdy outplayed Mahomes.
I'm not going to say that. I'm not saying that.
I think what we're ignoring though is how much the game has developed since then. At that point, because that Super Bowl at least was over 10 years old. 10 years old. So I'm not disrespecting Tom Brady. I'm not disrespecting Eli Manning. What I'm saying, the level of quarterback play, the athletes that we have now, I think it's just different. Like Eli Manning, I don't know how effective Eli Manning will be in today's era. That's all I'm saying.
Beat Mahomes, you have to outplay.
In my eyes, when it comes to the Eli thing, I'm never going to categorize that as, man, they were the better team that day. I'm always going to look at that and say, you know what? I'm always going to look at that and say, you know what? Every now and then, teams win because of lightning in the bottle.
He beat them twice.
But those were the 2 times.
It can't lighten the bottom when it comes to Super Bowl, though.
No. It was
can,
absolutely lightning in the bottom.
because these were
how it
teams
happened.
because these were Giants teams that had to win in week 17 just to get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
These were 9-7 Giants. They were not good.
But they were
They
they were
just
a
called-
team. But
they
they were
just
a team.
They were 60s. They were 60s.
But
They were
they were a team that they're like, when it's a close game, we know how to win, and that's basically what their
No,
formula was.
I'm okay with recognizing that there are times where teams win because of lightning in the bottle. There's times where your team is going to win because you are clearly the best team on both sides of the ball on that day. There are times where you need better moments than Mahomes.
And Eli had 2 plays where
That's it.
I don't think
But those
in his career he could not replicate
That's
those
it.
plays
Okay.
where he escapes a sack. He did.
That's
He
it.
makes the throw, and
Just
then
in
that
those 2
sideline
games.
tomorrow.
Just in those 2 games.
Those are two
But those
plays
they
he
make
not
plays
replicate.
to that,
Extent.
severity. But throughout the playoffs, remember they went and beat Brett Favre in Lambeau.
What's the biggest play of that game?
biggest play of the what game?
Of that game?
The field goal to win the game.
No. The biggest play of that game is Brett Favre throwing an interception, not anything Eli did.
But they had to kick the field goal. They had to get in the field goal range to kick
But
the field goal.
I don't think. But football is not like basketball. Like with March Madness or the NBA Finals, and NBA is not really lucky either. Because you can get away like an inch. But I'm not saying I didn't say that in football. But I'm saying this for a full game, it's a little bit different in basketball. A team can get 3 and somebody shoots like 10 threes. It's like fudge. Like you get behind by 15 quick, and it's hard to come back from that. Versus like football, it's possession and possession and possession and possession. You talk about a fight where a team wins by 3 points. How much lightning in the bottle can happen when a team is stopping you or Randy Moss?
90% of the time, it's going to be that outcome.
Right.
But every once in a blue moon, there's a team.
The best team doesn't always win.
That doesn't always win.
I mean, that happens in basketball.
No. In a 7-game series, the best team.
They do not always. Because if that was the case, then
it's a 7-game series.
Basketball don't do that.
Chance after chance.
So when the Pistons beat the Lakers in 2004, we're gonna say the Pistons.
They were the best team. Yeah, they were. They were
a better team.
Watson.
I don't think you don't need.
And they had Chauncey Billups, Rip Hamilton, Rasheed Wallace.
When we're talking about teams where it's just like, bro, who are the better players? If you were to go like one by one, saying, okay, it's Kobe. Who's better than Kobe? Who's better than Shaq? Like if you do
Rasheed was Karl Malone that year, and you know he was.
And that was in the story.
Absolutely.
They were holding teams under 70 points a game.
Hamilton was better. Rip Hamilton was better than Gary Payton. That you know he was.
Terrion Prince, like they had dogs. They had dogs. Tayshaun, bad. Tayshaun had dogs.
About the current Lakers.
It's just that's when it comes to football. When it comes to Super Bowls, 90% of the time. 90% of the time, the Super Bowl is going to play out the way you said it, where it's possession by possession. You got the best versus the best.
Right.
I'm just saying, in that 10%, you're going to get 2 Eli Manning Giants championships.
You're going to get a Julian Edelman saving the ball.
He's blowing a 20-point lead.
So when the Ravens went on their Super Bowl run, are we going to say that was also lightning in a bottle?
No, that was in that 90.
They had a
Joe Flacco
against the Broncos on
Ed Reed and Ray Lewis. I can't say they like in the bottom of them dudes.
They had one game.
10-6, a team that had to go on the road throughout the whole playoff run, and they ended up winning the Super Bowl. But you wouldn't say that they're the favorites coming in.
When I think of like,
you're confusing what we're saying. So it's always a favorite and someone that's not in every single game, no matter the matchup. But that particular year with that Ravens team was still good.
But Joe Flacco had to play out of his mind for them.
Listen.
Yep. So play against the Patriots where they had the downfield pass to Torrey Smith that won the game. That was Joe Flacco to go in the AFC Championship. And then after that, then we get to the Super Bowl.
How did they get there?
What are you talking about?
Hold on.
How did they get there?
To the AFC Championship?
Hold on. I think there's a difference between the Ravens and the Giants simply because the Ravens were slowly progressing every year.
They were
every year,
and they still had two.
Joe Flacco,
they still had two Hall of Famers on the defensive side of the ball.
They were always in that run.
I'm talking about playoffs. Joe Flacco
Oh,
consistently in the playoffs every year that he was there.
And that defense was able to make enough plays, given the fact that they had two Hall of Famers on that side of the ball.
Like
you're not looking at them the same way you're looking at the Giants.
The Giants were hold on.
They had one
for the first Super Bowl.
I was Strahan.
Giants.
Who else on the defense you can name in the Hall of Fame?
What the Giants start?
No, not Rondé Barber. What's
Barber.
On defense.
On defense, it was probably
Thank you.
Cordell.
Go ahead.
Literally, it's just when the Giants. Where were the Giants the year before?
Nothing. I don't even think they made the playoffs the year before here. I don't know if they made the playoffs the year either.
So
they're the lightning in the bottles.
Playoffs.
Yes.
And then they broke through.
The Giants just so happened to hit a stroke of luck.
Like heat wave that just took over, and it was like they're there and they're gone again for a couple years, and then boom!
Their first Super Bowl win over Brady. Do you want to know what their first game was? That playoffs, a 24-2 win over Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Roddy White Falcons. How often do you even see that from a team that just crept into the playoffs?
You can even go to the point where that same year that they beat the Patriots in the Super Bowl, they played earlier at the end of the season.
And the Patriots what? Both Brady and Moss broke records in that game.
To y'all's point, the second time they won the Super Bowl, they entered the playoffs with a negative point differential for the total for the season in terms of score.
Lightning in the bottom.
They did make the playoffs 4 straight times during that run where they won the first Super Bowl. Lost in the wild card twice, won the Super Bowl, and then lost
Lightning in the bottom. Yeah,
after being 12
again,
before.
to go back to our original point.
Y'all got way deep in the weeds.
There was a point that C-Mac made about his Chiefs offense, and I don't want to be disrespectful when I say this, right? I don't think the Chiefs offense really did anything special this entire playoffs.
No,
they didn't scheme up much of anything.
Except for
man.
This was literally just them saying, whatever the defense provides, we'll take it.
I think that McCole Hardman on the last play had a little jet pop out.
That's one play in an entire playoff.
I would say
let's go in. Hold on.
No, I'm talking about when it comes to you're not scheming up a game plan like, hey, we're going to target this guy all game because
they did.
The thing is, what was special about what the Chiefs offense did, everyone raised their level of play. Mahomes raised his level of play. What I needed to do to either win the game, he was going to do that. Rasheed Rice said, I think he said the rookie. Hold on. Let's go.
Execution still falls into play regardless of how you're scheming it.
But I'm saying what they did was special as far as like they were able to play situational football level at elite level. We're worried about the Chiefs scoring points. We're worried about the receivers dropping the ball. And each game they provided a new thing. Like I don't know how many games. This probably was I don't know if this is a fact, but I can imagine based off of his numbers at the end of the year, this is probably the fewest 300 or 300 yards passing or less Mahomes has probably done his entire career.
Goes to my point.
And then in the Super Bowl, he's like, okay, to bring us back to win this game to go overtime, all I need to do, I'm gonna give you 300 yards.
I think, but that plays to my point. That plays to my point. I think defenses pretty much played Kansas City the entire playoffs with a cautionary approach. Like, man, we can't give up the big play.
As they should.
Every defense played them that way. And what did Mahomes do? Okay, you know what? You do that. I'm gonna take this little quick dump off here.
Because you can't blitz Mahomes.
Hold on. Let me finish. He just took what the defense. Now remember, 2 years ago, this was a problem. This is something that they couldn't do. When they had Tyreek, defense was playing that too high cover shell. It was like, man, it's best to kind of sort of take the underneath stuff. And it took them a little while. You can sit here. It took them a little while to figure that out. Like, you know what? Let's just take Tyreek underneath and let him work with the ball in his hands. Right? I don't think the Chiefs did anything special this entire playoffs. I think defenses played them in a, I don't want to say scared manner, but they just didn't want to give it up. But I have to give the Chiefs credit for saying, you know what? We're not going to get greedy. We're not going to try to prove a point by throwing it down the field here and there. We're gonna take Rasheed on a short drag. We're going to take Travis on a short out, and we're just going to live to play another day.
To start the game against the Ravens was special. Like that first drive against the Ravens, what they did was deflating. The first time the Chiefs touched the ball to Kelsey on Kyle Hamilton, that was a message of like, stop. What Kelsey did in the second half of the Super Bowl was special. That move on Fred.
That plays into
so
my
point. Hold on, you said let me finish. Hold on. You said let me finish.
And look at that.
That was crazy. He let you finish.
You gotta let me finish.
But if you go back to that first drive of the Ravens game, that thing took like 7.5 minutes because it was just
you gotta let me finish. I will give you that. The best thing the Chiefs have ever done was trade away Tyreek Hill for our defense, and then it also forced. It was the best thing that ever happened for Mahomes. That's a fact. Because that landed, first of all,
he got to evolve.
We got more draft picks that landed. Well, I don't even got to a reason, but it led to Rasheed Rice and it led to Trent McDuffie was the first team all pro, and it gave you more cap space, and it forced Mahomes to be like, hey, bro, we know that you are the most talented quarterback we've ever seen. That's a fact. But you have to play a different way. You have to be Brady-esque to be able to win games. Against the Ravens, we do. We're like, okay, got to this lead. Defense is playing well. Until I need to really make a play, we're shutting all that stuff down. You cannot make a mistake. You have to be Brady-esque.
I hear you, but you could have still gotten.
No, we would not have. No, we would not have.
Points away. McDuffie was.
You talking about Tyreek?
Not trading Tyreek. You would have had McDuffie and Tyreek instead of McDuffie.
We would not have.
No, because they got Karlaftis.
We got Karlaftis also.
So
the other pick.
Because
I think that pick was the Dolphins.
Same draft.
Right.
They were.
2 years ago.
Yeah, they used their first on both.
Right, but you would have been able to get me.
But we use the capital. We use the capital from that trade to go up.
Give me McDuffie and Hill over McDuffie and Karlaftis.
No, but Karlaftis is our original pick. What I'm saying is, it from a systematic standpoint for Mahomes and his clock, the talent and the throws and his ability was never going to be a problem. His next evolution was, for me, was the mental. Can you be patient enough, like you've been saying, like you're saying as far as making the right place? It's hard when you got a racehorse with Tyreek, because as a receivers like Devontae, A.J. Brown, Stephon Diggs, all these CeeDee Lamb, what they get upset is they're not comfortable if they don't get the certain amount of touches. They start losing their freaking minds. We saw Travis Kelce push over Mike Coach yesterday. I should have smacked him through the screen. He pushed over Mike Coach. So these star receivers lose their mind when they don't get the ball. So with Tyreek, we never seen that we spoil. I'm not accusing him of that. What I'm saying is, though, he gonna need 160 targets. So they're gonna be about 10 of those targets. He's probably not open and work, but we still gotta, as a quarterback, trust to throw the ball. Versus now, Tyreek's gone. Hey, Valdez Scantling, bro, you don't command nothing. You might get 2 targets this game. You might get 5 next game. You might get 0 for the next couple of weeks. Rasheed Rice, you a rookie. You a young buck. You gonna follow the system. You gonna play. And this making Mahomes be like, you don't have that racehorse. We can trust Kelsey. How can you pick apart this defense and not having Tyreek allow him? It forced him to do that. I think that was the best thing that happened for us, and it gave us cap space. We're going to be crazy next year. All this cap space we got, we was able to put more resources to our defense, drag more defensive players. Like, the league is in trouble, big time. To let the Chiefs go back to back with the years that I lose Tyreek Hill. Are you serious? Like,
that's kind of crazy.
Man, y'all better hope that Mahomes get hurt or Kelsey get like.
We're gonna get Chris Jones and Snead.
We'll probably lose one of those. Like, our best option is to give Chris Jones a 1 year, and we don't got to talk about the Chiefs all season. I know this is Super Bowl related. I'm sure there's some Kyle Shanahan questions that we have, but we're not going to be able to retain everybody. That I get that, you know what I'm saying. But to let the Chiefs go back to back like this, and that defense is the youngest defense in the league, and then we have the cap space to go out and get a couple of better receivers to pair with Mahomes as he's getting better.
The foundation is there.
It's hey, boy, they're lucky we're playing the AFC. Like, that's the only saving grace. If it was in the NFC, we in the bowl next year. Like, if it was in the NFC, it's a wrap. It's like, You know he's back. Yeah, it's like, yeah, NFC, what? We back. AFC's like, we met the Rams and the Bengals. They still may have Higgins and Jamar Chase. That could be tough. So gotta play Josh Allen, them dudes, and Dawson Kincaid gonna make a leap next year. That's gonna be a tough. Lamar Jackson gonna make a leap next year. That'll be tough. CJ Stroud and them boys, they're gonna add some reference because he's a rookie. That's gonna be tough. So it's not that like it's gonna be a guarantee, but it was tough for the league to let Mahomes go back to back.
Do you have a Kyle Shanahan question?
I thought, yeah.
I do feel.
I think he cost him the game.
I feel
this man always be costing them the game.
And I didn't believe in that narrative until last night.
It's never the players. It's always Kyle.
Well, I think that he needs at this point he needs a quarterback that's going to take pressure off of him to not have to make the right play.
What Purdy play?
That's crazy.
Yes,
no, I'm not. It's not about Purdy playing not playing good or whatever like that. I think he needs somebody that's going to be great to where he doesn't have to call the right play in order for it to be a good play. I think that he needs somebody that can do things outside the scope of the play call.
Purdy could do that. I think for me, it was more of at the line of scrimmage, making adjustments there and seeing what the defense is giving you and making that change. No, I'm saying you can go above the X and O's after the play starts. I'm saying where Purdy, I feel like could have done better. I didn't see enough of changes
but you don't expect that from a second year.
And you don't. I wasn't saying that was the expectation, but I could tell the difference between him and Mahomes. Mahomes was making him checks.
Is this you guys? Is this you guys putting this loss on Purdy's shoulders?
Who do you put it on?
You put it on Shanahan for sure.
No,
he threw away the game.
Who do I put it on?
To me, I think this loss goes more towards the skill position play. For me, and the reason why I say this is outside of McCaffrey, none of the receivers had 50 yards receiving, which is the first time all season.
Okay, that's fair.
None of them have had at least 50 yards.
Somebody got to get me the ball.
So when we talk about that, all season we've said how they've had the best skill position players. There's you have Kittle, who's been an All-Pro, Debo, who's been an All-Pro, Ayuk, who was an All-Pro. Jennings had a fantastic game. So you're
skill position.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But we don't expect Jennings, but he came out of nowhere because Jennings, whatever you may say, Jennings has never really had to be the premier guy. He ended up being the premier guy of the receivers, was he not? So it's if he shows up, you expect others to also try and show up, and they kind of didn't.
But Purdy missed up.
I have an issue with us letting this defense off the hook.
What?
Nah,
because here's defense
off the hook.
Yes,
let him go. Just let him
because
go.
Here's my thing.
Go.
As well as they played all game, right? Last two drives for the Chiefs ended up in points, right? Yes or no?
Yep.
As well as they played, one stop. That's all it takes.
What defense would have stopped Mahomes?
No, I don't care. I don't. When you take the field, you're not thinking that.
How can you blame the whole defense
when you're Fred Warner, you're not going on the field with a 3-point lead thinking, who's gonna stop Mahomes in this situation?
You're not gonna do that. But
you go on this field. When you're going on this field, you're going on this field with this mindset of what? I need a stop.
And he did their best.
I don't care. Did their best.
They held Mahomes with
19 points of regulation.
They held Mahomes with regulation.
Hold on. This is the same thing y'all said, right? To the Saints defense when they lost in that NFC Championship game to the Rams. And their last two drives, they gave up scores. We keep looking at the pass interference, and I'm like, they gave up 2 scoring drives the last 2 times they were on the field.
I didn't know you did.
They gave up the game time field goal, and then they gave up the game winning field goal.
I said we hadn't had this conversation.
I'm looking at this Niners defense with Bosa, with Fred Warner, with Javon Hargrave, with Chase Young, with Randy Gregory in rotation, with Charjavius Ward. Get me one stop.
They did.
What? No. When it matters the most.
Can I respond? from a perspective, from a Chiefs fan's perspective, I always want to preface that. Not saying I'm right, but from just watching I'm just putting the bias out there. You hold Mahomes to 3 points in the first half. You did a hell of a job. Each play, each possession in the Super Bowl matters. Like let's put that out there. This ain't no regular season game. This ain't the divisional game. Hell, this not even the AFC Championship game. Every possession matters.
You're right.
3 points.
You're right.
So 6. Hold on. Let me finish.
I want you to
He gonna jump in front of me. I want you to hold on.
So through 3.5 quarters or longer, you held the greatest player that I feel like I've seen. Not the career-wise, the greatest player to 6 points. The defining moment of the game was when a muff punt, and then now Mahomes gets the ball back at his freaking 13-yard line?
Inside.
Of course it's going to be a touchdown. I mean, what the hell are you supposed to do there? I'm not blaming defense for that. That's the special teams. The special teams also missed a what? An extra point that cost them because Mahomes would have had to get a touchdown in the game, right? So the special teams are horrible. Muff punt, and they missed an extra point, which is ridiculous. And did they miss a field goal too? Or am I tripping?
No.
They didn't miss a field goal. Okay, they made both. Okay, cool, yeah. So the defense, I'm like, bro, you held the Chiefs to 19 points in regulation. If you tell Kyle Shanahan, no matter what the circumstances is, your defense going to the Super Bowl holds Mahomes to 19 points regulation with this offense, you have to win the game.
Fred Warner did his job on that play that Rasheed Rice got that crossing route. Fred Warner got held. They didn't call it. There's so many things that you can add to context for why a defense is making plays or not making plays. I don't feel like with how you summed it up, it's not fair for you to blame the defense.
19 points. Defense gave up 19 points.
Going back to the divisional round, right? Going back to the division.
The Chiefs or the Niners?
Chiefs and the Bills.
Okay.
I want you to go back to that game. Chiefs took the final lead at the beginning of the fourth. Okay? The beginning of the fourth.
I remember
27-24. So what did they continue to do for the rest of the game? Given how the game played out, I wonder at any point did Chris Jones take the field and say, man, Jesus, man, we're probably going to give up some points here to Josh,
That's
right?
Not what I'm
No.
I bet he was.
No. Let me go.
Let me go. Right.
Who said I am summing it up.
Nobody said that.
You going to let me go?
You going to let us go? You hadn't let us go.
It was my turn to talk.
That's crazy. Now it's your turn. Go ahead.
Nobody took the field saying, man, I hope this guy doesn't score. You took the field with the mindset of what? I got to get a stop. I got to make sure this guy on the other side of the ball does not score. I don't care when at any point in the game. Fred Warner did not take that field in overtime with the lead thinking, oh, my Jesus, he's probably going to score on us, guys. No, he took the field thinking.
He did his job and got held.
No, you need to get a damn stop, bro.
He got held.
Because you keep pointing at that play. They gave up a 4th down and 2 third-down conversions on that drive.
I feel you.
You know what? Like the reason why nobody really gives this defense like slack for their performance is because at the end of the day, what we have said about these elite quarterbacks and why they're elite because they can make plays when they need to be made. Hold on. But then we also say that Mahomes is on another level than those guys. And at the end of the day, the reason why Mahomes is on the level that he is at is because he makes the plays that we didn't see Lamar make when they needed it, that we didn't see Josh make when they needed it. Like, they're at the end of the day, like
nobody was open in Mahomes making plays.
I didn't hear this excuse when they got necessary stops against Detroit.
Nobody was open and Mahomes made the play.
The Niners defense in the second half of that game.
Let Cordell go.
Yeah.
Let Cordell get in.
You're paid to do what? You're paid to do what? I don't give a damn who the quarterback is. You're paid to do what?
Let Cordell go. Let Cordell get in.
So I decided to go look up while y'all was arguing. I just needed to see. I needed to see Purdy's numbers. I wanted to go see what my man Jimmy G's numbers were.
Oh, okay.
But I do a nice little comparison. See the score, get a good evaluation of what I'm looking at.
Oh man, that's not good. That's not a good comparison.
So Jimmy G threw for 188 yards
in the Super Bowl.
So I had to do some math to figure out what Purdy threw in this game of regulation because that thing didn't go to OT. So in 4 quarters, I just wanted to do 4 quarters versus 4 quarters.
Okay.
He only threw for 205 yards. So we're talking like 15, less than 20 yards apart from 188 to 205.
This is bad.
What about the turnovers?
Okay.
This is bad. We're going with
Yeah,
this.
the turnovers would be the main factor because Jimmy G, I think, had 2.
Let me go. I didn't even look at that. Give me 1 second. 1 second.
That should have been one of the first things you looked at.
Because that's the reason why we say that Purdy played well as he didn't.
He didn't turn the ball
in a
over.
bad position at all.
And on that last drive, the Niners defense, there was nobody open and Mahomes ran. You
No.
put it on the D-line.
That's again that falls into the 4. You gave up a 4th down and 3 third down conversions. That's one of them. I mentioned that.
No.
But look at the fumbles. I just know. That's why
He did against the Chiefs.
Yeah, and there is no interception, but it doesn't have a stat for me right here. A fumble for Jimmy.
Bro, this is preseason. That's not the Super Bowl.
No, this is Jimmy G. I could have sworn this is.
Bro, that's why I was like, wait. Cause look, it's 27-17.
What was the?
Oh, that Super Bowl was like 31 or something.
I pulled up. All right.
Was it 20? Was it 24-20? 24-20? Yeah. It was 24-20. What?
Nah, I think the Chiefs scored 31 something.
No, they were down 20-10.
But then they didn't get to
They scored twice. They scored twice to win the game. It was
It was
20.
31-20. What I was talking about. What's the final score? 31-20. Jimmy G had 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, 219 yards.
200 pounds.
219.
Okay.
1 touchdown, 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
What's your point?
So, huh?
What's your point with this?
Well, I was just saying that there is not a big difference between their performances.
There's a massive difference.
There's a difference, which is the turnover.
There's one difference.
Okay, hold on. But if I am holding Mahomes to 19, don't come at me. My defense helped him. I would love to hold Mahomes to 19.
A lot of people would.
19.
You shouldn't be complaining.
Can I ask, when did 9 of those points come? On the last 2 drives of the game. I don't care. The last 2 drives of the game.
So you're telling me that I should have the expectation that my offense can't score more than 19 points?
No, what I'm telling you is, as a defender, you take, when you have a lead, you're taking the field saying, I need to get a stop. I need to stop him from scoring. You bring up 19, but half those points came upon the Chiefs' last 2 drives.
Position, if you could score more.
We wouldn't be in this position if you would have got a stop. You gave up a 4th down. You gave up a 4th down and 2 third down conversions on the final drive.
But you could also say, oh, you have negative plays on offense. Move the ball forward.
They got the lead. We took the lead.
But I'm saying you can have the same logic for the offense. Give me some points. Give me score.
Just outplayed the defense. There was nothing they could do. When it came to him doing the scrambles, it's like they weren't prepared for this.
Excuses for an offense that had opportunity after opportunity throughout the entire game to make more plays than they made. Now you're in this situation and you're going to be like, defense, save us because we can't score more than 19. That's what we say in defense. Save this offense. Like, that's unfair.
On the skill position players, to me, I think it's the skill position players that they didn't show up.
But to that point,
I saw Purdy
all
throw the ball in
season.
the dirt.
All season, we've been talking about Kyle. We've been talking about Kyle play calling and setting those playmakers up to succeed. So how much of that, because those playmakers didn't do what they needed to do, how much of that would be on Kyle Shanahan for not winning them? I'm saying
not putting on Kyle.
Players because they were open and there were drops made. There were times the ball was thrown into the ground on bad passes. Execution was not clean.
Can I say again?
Aside from the ball, I'm blaming the offense. Him under 20. You know what happened when the Chiefs?
But I gave up 9. I gave up 9 of those 19.
The Giants did that.
I gave up 9 of those 19 points in the final minute and a half.
Can we talk about Shanahan's decision? Let's actually talk about some of the things that actually happened from a Chiefs fan perspective. what Kyle Shanahan did to us, he bailed us out so many times. That's what I felt like throughout the game. Meaning, one, let me talk about what Purdy did in the first half, right? Let's take it half by half. I kind of said in the opening statement, but the weight of the world had to be on his shoulders. Second year player, you know what I'm saying? I'm not
First
even
Super Bowl start.
First Super Bowl start. You're going against the baddest dude on the planet, and it's just a weight. I mean, you can even throw in just being in Vegas. I feel like it's just a buzz. Like Super Bowl just felt massive. All the talk around him. Is he a game manager? If he's not, like, this a lot of Purdy. He didn't get Purdy. It's kind of crazy because Purdy didn't come into this game with that, like, oh, you know, if he doesn't play well, like, it's only a second year. He's coming into where if he didn't have a good game, at least bare minimum, people were ready to be like, oh, he's
He would've
terrible.
got slandered.
Like, he would have got slandered. So he's coming in with everything. Like, he has a lot. It was more pressure on Purdy entering the game than it was for Mahomes.
And he responded to that pressure pretty well.
And he responded to the
He
well.
really did.
He didn't make no catastrophic mistake in the first half. He overthrew a couple of players, which turned out to be not well. But I think the most devastating thing that could have happened in the first half was made by the Hall of Famer Christian McCaffrey, not by Brock Purdy. Some of the mistakes that were job killers was made by Hall of Famer and True Williams, not by Brock Purdy. So you're talking about your best two players on offense when it comes to actually being Hall of Famers and True Williams and Brock Purdy that really cost you opportunities.
Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah, Trent Williams and Christian McCaffrey that really cost you points. With Kyle Shanahan, what the problem was with Kyle Shanahan is on the third quarter, they went away from running the ball. Now, I don't care if we put 8 in the box. I don't care if we put 11 in the box. I don't give a damn if we went all out blitz. You leave the players out there by themselves. Do not go away from the run. There were too many times where they were throwing the ball, and it's like, I know McCaffrey had 22 rushes in that game, bro. I'm sorry, Super Bowl line. He should have had 30 rushes. Maybe we needed to work in Elijah Mitchell. Maybe he get 8, 9 rushes. You put the ball in Purdy's hands too much, and it's like their bread and butter was a run game. And it blows my mind that he made that mistake because everything in that offense is predicated around the zone read. Catastrophic mistake he did. And
it
that
wasn't the first time he made that mistake.
It wasn't exactly. Now going into the overtime, that was the craziest thing that you could have ever done was taking the ball first and giving Mahomes 4 downs. And your team coming out from Armstead to all pretty much their best players, all their leaders that have been playing the league for 9, 10 years. It was like, yeah, we didn't know nothing about that. Yeah, we kind of didn't know. And then on Andy Reid's side, it was like, yeah, Drew Tranquil had a tweet or a tweet or a quote that came out via ESPN or those or whatever. It's like, yeah, we did the meetings, and Andy Reid talked about it
the
too.
Ringer.
Yeah, the Ringer, and like there's a lot of people that came out. Obviously now in the Super Bowl, but it's like, hey, we met twice and going over the same situational football, and it's like Kyle Shanahan bailed us out with not running the ball in the second half, and then his that taking the ball first in overtime. It's unexcusable, bro.
Not
like
making sure everybody
just situational football was just. It was just bad, bro. It was just bad. He let us off the hook in the game of inches where and then gets Kyle Shanahan. He had a good coaching game. Brock Purdy had a good playing game or whatever. The defense had a good performance, but it falls on the leader's shoulders. Shanahan, if you want to get over the hump, because this has been the same issue that played him in Atlanta. Big bro, you know about that. Not trying to open up no wounds, but you know what Kyle Shanahan in that game. You know what's happened to him in 2019 when the Chiefs beat him. That time, it's been just the same situation with Shanahan, bro. Like at some point, we got to be like, bro, you're not being good enough in these moments. Because what's the common denominator? Matt Ryan, Jimmy Garoppolo, Brock Purdy. We can't keep blaming the quarterbacks. The common denominator is you.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Same style.
Okay, right.
They're the same style. Bro, just because I said style, don't make it the same tier. I just said style of play. That is all I said. I'm not saying that Purdy and Jimmy G are as good as Matt.
What about Trey? But what about Trey? What about Trey Lance? If he's such as great, but if he's
not that style,
I know. But if he's this great quarterback whisperer, if he's this elite play caller, why is he keep falling short in these big moments? How can he not know how to put the game away? He struggles with that. He's not on that tier of a Sean McVay yet, bro. He's not, in my opinion, Andy Reid. Because those guys have proven to me when it matters, I know what to do to be able to close out games when it matters.
Well, hold on. But to be fair, if we're going to say that, like I said earlier, that I think that he needs an elite type of quarterback, you could say the same thing of what Sean McVay needed, because with Sean McVay, he was the same way when he had Jared Goff. That Jared Goff, he couldn't win with Goff because at the end of the day, he needed somebody that could take the pressure off of his play call.
Yeah.
That can make plays when the play that he called wasn't there.
He didn't have a Matthew Stafford, but he had a Christian McCaffrey, a Hall of Fame running back. He had it,
but just like
he had it, huh?
He
got Hall of Fame coach.
Because McVay,
Purdy,
McVay had Tom, who was offensive player of the year when they went
not
to
that Super Bowl, not the Super Bowl win.
No. Super Bowl the first time. What I'm saying is he had the running back, he had the receiver, he had the defense. It was just
we're talking about Matthew. I'm talking about with Matthew Stafford. What I'm saying is,
Stafford
but Purdy
put them over the hump. I said with Shanahan, I think an elite quarterback would be the thing that puts him over the hump, like it did Sean McVay.
There's also a Bill Belichick element to this too that needs to be addressed.
Has the ability to outplay Mahomes.
What I'm saying is, if you saw, let me ask you this question: if Andy Reid coached the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan's on the Chiefs, who wins that game last night?
I still say Chiefs.
Chiefs.
Wait,
Mahomes. I'm sorry. Chill, Mahomes.
How much long are we doing this, bro? There's no way we talking about. Bro. Andy Reid is a. But bro,
be serious now.
Can I answer it? I'm going to be honest. Obviously, Mahomes took Andy Reid over the top. He was a baked cake with no icing, no cherries, no sprinkles. But he was a baked cake. He had hold on. Because people consider Bill Belichick the greatest coach of all time. His winning percentage without Tom Brady is 44%. With Reid, he has a winning percentage vastly over 50%. Without Mahomes, he's been to Super Bowl. He went to multiple NFC championship games. So he was already was an offensive savant. He
was shouting Kyle Shanahan.
Stop. Hold on. What I'm saying is, though, what Andy Reid has become with the play calling and his ability, his time management is improved. With time management has improved, all that is improved.
That was what I was going to time management.
So he's basically saying that Andy Reid was good enough to get to the pinnacle. Now, whether getting over the pinnacle, that's where the difference between grabbing a guy like Mahomes.
Able to get to the pinnacle because he's been there twice. Andy Reid only made it once without Pat Mahomes. Kyle Shanahan has made it twice without an elite quarterback. Kyle Shanahan usually makes these runs in the playoffs, so it's like, okay, they're there, but they just can't get over the hump.
So if their roles were switched, I'm gonna say the Chiefs are winning that game
because what Reid is proven to do is they've been able to come back from deficit. They've been able to win in different styles. How they played the Ravens was a lot different. How they played the 49ers. How they played the Dolphins was a lot different. How they played the 49ers. There's been a different scheme. There's been different abilities to be able to do different things. Like, yeah, he hasn't had that elite quarterback, but bro, the skill position he has had, he's not playing with scrubs, bro. This is not an indictment on, like, we're not saying Kyle Shanahan is not a great coach. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, bro, Purdy played to level expectations yesterday. Did Purdy not meet expectations yesterday of what we were expecting?
That was about what that was.
Did Christian McCaffrey not do what he was expecting to do?
Yeah.
He had 160 all-purpose yards.
Yeah, he had 32.
So what I'm saying is, the common denominator for these losses in the Super Bowl has been Kyle Shanahan. Yeah, Matt Ryan wasn't as good as Tom Brady, but bro, you were up 28-3. Like, these are some of these are.
I mean, by that, Matt was outplaying Brady the entire time.
Sure, even better. But you're making my point even better. You were up 28. What a problem, Julio Jones. Julio Jones caught the halftime show. Like, that's how much he was catching. Like, in that game. Like,
all we're saying is when you talk about Andy Reid and you talk about Kyle Shanahan, if you take out Mahomes, what Andy Reid's career is and what Kyle Shanahan's career is, they were basically the same kind of coach. Whereas great offensive innovators who were able to take their teams to the promised land, but they just couldn't get over the hump to actually win it.
All right.
No, and they were both coaches that, no matter what you could say, they won in the regular season.
This is probably
because Andy had McNabb, which is better,
and that was my point. Like, this is probably going to be a conversation that we have off subject, but it wasn't as if when it comes to comparing Kyle and Andy, Andy had elite quarterback play in Philly.
You had Brian West.
He just couldn't get over the hump for some odd reason. It wasn't as if Kyle's been like, yo,
he's a fat slot.
Fat slob.
He was fat slob. He just fat, and
No,
he was not a leader.
He was good.
He was not.
He was not.
Straight with the
He was-
straight
He was not a
What
leader.
was he doing the night before the Super Bowl?
Like, he was not a leader, bro.
Terrell Owens got on him because of what?
Like, he was not a leader, bro.
Because he didn't set his team up. He wasn't locked into the game. He wasn't
wasn't leader.
You
focused.
point to one game,
That's what we're talking about.
but he's arguably the reason why they even got the 4 straight NFC title games.
Brian Westbrook.
And in that moment, for that game,
No, we're talking about the
Donovan
level of quarterback play that these guys had.
And for a level of quarterback, your quarterback at whatever level, he should have had his team ready to play. And Donovan McNabb didn't do that in the big.
Donovan McNabb is a black version of Eli Manning. Donovan McNabb is a black version of Eli Manning.
Well, I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far. I wouldn't go that far.
Actually,
But-
words, y'all got 2 Super Bowls.
If you want to say that's fine.
That matters.
Play on the field was far.
That may be a 500 team if you remove McNabb from those equations.
Starter quarterbacks from any team. though.
No,
Big Ron.
no. When you're throwing to Todd Pinkston,
No, because it's
you ain't throwing to nobody. Freddie Mitchell,
They was putting up points.
because of who?
They were putting up points. 47, 49,
Because of
34.
who? Thank you.
Now,
so.
down the stretch, though, they cooled off a little bit down the stretch. One of the Super Bowl runs. No,
Why?
I'm saying this in terms of the amount of points that they were scoring. But
So, what
Give it to
I used to say, I believe that if I had to blame one person, I think the most blame goes to Kyle Shanahan. Who you're saying Brock Purdy?
I'm giving the entire
Players. So they give players.
Of the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Of
Who
the-
gets the most blame?
Who gets the most?
Yeah. Who's most responsible? Hey, that's a question.
oh, they lost the special teams. That was the difference. That was, when you brought up the special team, that's the difference for me. Because all these things we're talking about right now, it don't matter.
I don't know. I
That
think
comes
I
back
think
to
the
Taylor.
honestly, I think the blame is pretty spread evenly in my opinion.
Oh man,
Because I look at the
this is
defense
outspoken.
and I'm being outspoken. And I'm being outspoken. I look at a defense that played Mahomes the best way anybody in this playoffs had. I'm saying, but I'm looking at them and I'm saying, no, y'all couldn't make just one play on the last 2 drives. I'm looking at the offense and I'm saying, Brock, if you would have handled that last throw, you would have got Ayuk in the back of the end zone. I know, but I'm saying, better decision making. He had a throw there. I'm looking at the special teams. And I'm like, yo, being your situational awareness, your cover, you're in your situational awareness. Your guy that's McLeod is telling you to stay away from the ball. That means to stay the hell away from the goddamn ball. I'm looking at everybody. I'm looking at Shanahan. Your management, your clock management was questionable the entire game.
See, another catastrophic moment we didn't talk about. So it was an overtime. It was how they came out in the third quarter, and it was that last drive where they had the Chiefs on the heels when it was 16-16, and they did not handle that right. They should have either ran it again and make it a 4th and short and go for it again, or they should have.
He didn't run the football enough in general, in my opinion, and that was a problem with me. He didn't run the football enough late. Yeah. You know, they wasn't pulling off 5-6 yards of carry, but you have the best running back in the game.
Okay, they were giving him touches. Don't make it.
Give him more.
I don't care.
It's a Super Bowl.
I'm never supposed to move touches.
I don't.
It's Christian McCaffrey. It's the best running back in the league.
One guy to carry the whole load.
Yes. Welcome to the Chiefs.
When you have multiple, they are a team where they have multiple all-pro players at different positions on offense. They need to be able to get the ball to these guys, and they need to be able to get.
But what is the offense predicated around?
He has 30.
Even more. Give him more. Give him more.
Like, didn't do that.
Give him more. Give him more. Give him more.
Is essentially saying that the all-pro guys that they have on the rest of the offense don't mean
the offense is around the run game.
So here's a question.
Stop reading. They read the ESPN box score. They read the ESPN box score.
Here's a question I have for you specifically. You feel so disproven about Brock Purdy wouldn't you want to do everything possible to not have the ball in his hands late in the game in the Super Bowl?
Thank you.
You don't believe in him, but you don't want to give McCaffrey more touches?
The way you guys are talking is as if it was like when we were talking about the Ravens game, where it was like, bro, why did you guys not run the ball more? And I'm like, bro, he got a healthy amount of touches.
That's not what we're saying. It's completely different.
So so you think he should have got it 40? 40?
Yeah, damn near.
Yeah. Yes.
It's a Super Bowl.
It's a Super Bowl. I don't care. There's no game next week.
So it's more. It's about
me. I'm saying you should be balanced.
Why not rotate Elijah Mitchell?
So let me get this straight.
Give
So you
Debo
don't
more carries.
So
Yeah,
you
why
don't
not give Debo more
you don't
carries?
believe in Purdy. You don't believe in Purdy, but you want him to throw the ball more late in the Super Bowl to wrap the game to.
That's what I want any of my quarterbacks to do.
Because
what you want me to tell you. That's what my problem was, is because I want you to do this, but you can't.
That's not their winning formula.
You got to do it.
It's not their winning formula.
Only for that to happen, and then when he throws the interception, you're like, well, why are you letting him throw it? Like you're.
This is the bet you made. You got lying.
No, it's not. The bet that they made was that they wanted him to manage the game in certain situations. But they also they manage they view every game. McCaffrey's getting touches regardless.
I came into this game and I came into this season and I have told you this is a passing league. You're gonna have to make.
No, it's not, bro.
Through the air.
Stop doing it.
That is how the league is.
No.
And you need a guy who can make those. You don't believe that, and you gonna keep on with your ground
because the Niners are in the Super Bowl because of it
and lose it.
I don't care.
And what did we just say earlier? We said if the Chiefs were in the NFC, they would be the ones.
Y'all passing Bills can't even get there because
they're the Bills in the NFC. They'd be in the Super Bowl.
And we say every year they still need to run the damn football more. Maybe they would be there if they ran the football more.
Oh, we were having this conversation the other day. Wait, I got you.
If you're saying that McCaffrey needs 40 touches, why are we paying Debo the way that they're paying? Well, hold on. Why are they paying Kittle? Why are they paying IU? Like, you get to a point where it's like, if you're just going to make it the McCaffrey show, even
if you don't do it, you can still line Debo in the backfield. Don't act like you haven't done it before. Give him more end around. I'm kidding. Okay. Just put the ball in there. You're still wanting Brock to make that proof throw. That's the issue. He doesn't have
Hold on. Okay. Got you. Okay. So hold on.
You do.
So
through the air.
No, you do not.
Well, find somebody who can do that, who does it then. Because in all the Super Bowls that we've seen of recent, they have made the plays through the air in order to win. That is the game we live in now.
Cordell's not wrong. In terms of the big game and beating Mahomes, it hasn't happened with the running game. But I do think, like, when you have a 49ers, when you have a Ravens, and your formula is to run the football, and that's your best, that you have your bell cows, your best athletes, whatever the case, you give them the ball, for sure. But it hasn't worked out against teams that are passing.
Like that.
But if you want to put that on Mahomes and not on the passing element of it, that was kind of where we landed before.
What did we say to the Dolphins? Man, they need to throw a ball a lot more in that game.
No, but at the same time, when you have that style of offense and you have somebody like Mahomes on the other sideline, it'll get to a point where it's like, okay, I'm gonna have to go tit for tat. If you're having a quarterback, we've seen the best quarterbacks be able to beat whatever defense is thrown at them. You can have an elite defense. Most teams who are in the Super Bowl have an elite defense. And we see the quarterbacks making the plays against that defense because they have to. The defense we've seen it easier to beat elite defenses with having a Patrick Mahomes or a Tom Brady, an elite quarterback who's making those throws to counteract how beautiful and glorious your defense is.
Like, I think at the end of the day, when y'all talk about, okay, they needed to run the ball more. Okay, like, cool. But the play that we look at is on third down when they pass it and we had Ayuk open in the back of the end zone. If Brock Purdy makes that play, what are we saying? Damn, Brock Purdy made the play. And at the end of the day, the only reason why he didn't make that play was not because it wasn't a good play call, not because they should have ran the ball. it was because Chris Jones just made a better play to where Brock Purdy couldn't make that throw.
Could they have
and
adjusted?
because Brock Purdy isn't an elite quarterback,
Apparently
we
not,
don't
because
expect him
adjustments
to make that
I'm
throw.
talking about Purdy at the line.
When Chris Jones pressured him and he threw it away, it's like, okay, like we didn't say, oh man, he should have made that. Why? Because he's not an elite quarterback. But we're saying that if Chris Jones didn't just make a better play,
Bro, he's a good quarterback. It's year 2.
Yeah.
The first, hold on. The first year, like we keep saying that Brady, the undisputed career GOAT played in, he accounted for 1 touchdown pass that entire run. That dude, he was never that dude until
what I'm saying is,
what I'm saying is, Purdy played well enough to win that game. And that you talk about when it was 16 and 6. Think about again. Let's put context of what was going on, right? The muff punt happens. The Chiefs go up 13-10 after being dominated for three and a half quarters, bro. And they go into the fourth quarter down 13-10. If you're football fans, who's the pressure back on? It's back on Purdy. It's back on Niners. It's back on Purdy. Purdy, when there's time to make a drive to put the team in position to be ahead, he delivered twice before regulation. In overtime, he went and got the field goal. Did he get a touchdown? No, but he went and got a field goal. So that means 3 times in 3 must-score possessions, he went out and got a score. Period, bro. So yeah, like we keep talking like. So what I'm saying is, bro, like I hate that whole. That whole like. No, hold on. No, you don't.
like,
Go ahead, bro.
What you're trying to say?
Let me wrap it up. You understand? If you let me wrap it up, you understand. So my point of that, we always want to nitpick throws here and there when we look at the games back and forth and all that. But what I'm saying, in the moments, and you're watching the game and you're watching how momentum swings and he keeps delivering. Okay, I need this. And I need to go down there and I need to score again. Hey, you get you made the coach made a mistake to get the ball first, but you went down there and you made the throws, you made the plays to go out and score again. So what I'm saying is Purdy was good enough to win the game. He has been the second best quarterback. He has been the second best quarterback in this entire NFL postseason, only behind Mahomes. So my point is, stop talking about what Purdy could have done. Bro, it came out of Kyle. For me, Kyle Shanahan dropped the ball because if you got a guy at the quarterback, and we said he outplayed the guy who gave the MVP award to, he outplayed Jared Goff, made the throws in that game. He came back and won a game against Green Bay. The common denominator is, when do we start looking at Kyle Shanahan saying, you're not getting the job done? Period, bro.
But see, no. So that's why I was like, I'm not understanding what you're trying to say, because
Kyle Shanahan.
No, because I said that Purdy was good.
I'm attacking Cordell. You think Purdy's not good enough?
No,
you guys keep saying you need to be an elite quarterback. You keep saying you need an elite quarterback. But he played elite in this postseason.
No. Now listen to me. What I said was, I said that Purdy did play a good game. I said that the only reason why Purdy didn't make the play for the touchdown was not because he did something wrong. It was just because Chris Jones just made a better play on that down.
Right.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is, when y'all was talking about they needed to run the ball more, I'm like, they went down the field being able to throw and run. It's just that on that one critical play, Chris Jones just happened to make a better play. But I don't think that it was, like if they would have ran the ball more, they would have won. I think that they were driving the ball down the field and Purdy was making enough plays in the passing game. I just think that in overtime, for that one play, I think Chris Jones just made a better play for that one play.
That's
think
all
I'm
it could come back to that overtime and not knowing the rules and not playing 4-down football
Well,
down there. Because then they would have ran the ball more in that situation. They created
that
Kyle Shanahan.
1000% falls on the head on the coach.
Yes.
No one else. Let me say this real quick. I'm tired of hearing this postseason after postseason about players not knowing what the overtime rules are. That's a problem. That is a huge issue. We hear this at least once every damn year when the team goes into overtime. A player comes out in the presser afterwards and says, "I wasn't familiar with the overtime rules." Well, when the hell are players going to get familiar with that?
Because they keep saying that when they think about overtime, they're thinking about the regular season where you want the ball first.
The Chiefs ran. They took part in practice to go strictly on overtime rules.
That's your job. That's your job.
denominator is these teams keep thinking that the regular season is
No,
just like
we
Set the rules. We do the rules. We were sitting here watching.
Toss.
Oh,
And who made that decision? Kyle Shanahan and analytics.
What I'm saying, no, well, not saying that there's not blame for Kyle Shanahan. I'm just telling you the reason why these players keep messing it up, like you said, is because they keep thinking that it's the regular season rules when it's not. I'm not saying that they should be absolved from blame.
we're
We're
spinning it forward for you.
Yes,
It's Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah.
That's all. We're with you.
So you blame Kyle Shanahan. So you're the only one who doesn't blame Kyle Shanahan.
So but for me, it's not just Kyle Shanahan. To me,
He gets majority of the blame though.
the
This is
majority.
outspoken. This ain't
No.
This ain't mad. This ain't mad. Tim Gilbert.
Said it straight out,
we're
throughout.
we're
What did
talking,
you say?
we're talking about
I
something
said
completely
special teams, but I back to the head coaching.
On. Purdy had 255 and 1 time. That's
But let's
let you go on long.
Yeah.
Offense. All I'm sitting here saying is, if you told me, hey, yo, Cordell, your Bills are going to put up 19 points against the Chiefs, you going to win that game?
It's different.
No, I don't think I can beat the Chiefs only putting up 19
It's
points.
different.
At the end of no, it's not different. What team really feels comfortable saying, yeah, if I put up 19, I can beat the Chiefs?
Literally historic defenses.
Yeah, honestly,
Historic defenses.
Well,
0-1 Ravens.
And you get if you wanna phrase it different ways, then you can sit here and say, if somebody would have told me, hey, Purdy has 255 and a tutty, and they got a lead with a minute and a half late, I'm thinking, bro, we got this.
yeah.
Well, I don't know.
That's what you think?
Yeah, no.
Oh,
no.
no,
You
No.
13 seconds.
255 a tutty, no turnovers, and you got a lead late in the game against Patrick Mahomes.
Who has the ball? Has the ball.
I don't care. You got to lead late with those numbers.
If Patrick Mahomes has the ball, then yeah, no.
Nah.
You got to lead late with Mr. Irrelevant.
That's the best case scenario.
Yes.
Best case scenario, I'm still not comfortable. You say you comfortable. I'm
Because the
comfortable.
minute because the ball last, what team has stopped Pat Mahomes?
But if you're,
ball?
but again,
You'd rather be at a deficit.
so what? No, you're telling me no. Here's the contradictory comes into play, right? Because he said you have to outplay Mahomes to win. If you're telling me that your opposing quarterback has 255 and a tutty and he's got the lead late, wouldn't you think, man, how bad is Mahomes?
Two things.
No.
Think in that manner?
No.
What?
Two things. Two things. One.
255 and a tutty and I got a lead on Mahomes?
Showed you enough to where you.
No, listen to what I'm saying. If you hear this, right?
What's your first thought?
Your first thought is that, dang, if Purdy has 255 and a tutty and they got the lead late, what's going on with Mahomes in that offense?
No.
What I'm thinking is
That's not all I'm thinking.
he only has one tutty.
That would be my. That would be my thought. Yep.
Somebody else got.
What's your next thought?
My first.
I'm thinking McCaffrey's going crazy.
No, what's your next thought?
You're not thinking about Mahomes in the offense. Because if Mahomes had 450 and 3 touchdowns in that manner, you don't think the team would have a lead late. You're thinking, man, what's going on with that Kansas City
I'm
offense?
thinking McCaffrey's going crazy. That's it.
Okay.
No, 250 and a tutty ain't elite.
For mid,
Bro, name me bad Mahomes players.
Bro,
Yeah. They don't understand the Super Bowl. How tight this game was.
Tutty is an okay game.
That's a good game.
He played a great game for what was expected out of him. He played
And
a great
against
game.
that defense, that's a good game.
That's a great game. He played a great game.
It's a good game. No turnovers. That's a good game.
Yeah.
Why is it okay? No, that's a good game. That's a good game, bro.
Bro, he played it, bro.
Tutty. You want me to sit here and praise 255 to Tutty?
But
He deserves some credit.
Stop.
He definitely deserves some credit.
Blank slate. I just see 255 and a Tutty as your stat. That's what I'm looking at.
Context
You
matters.
have 255 and a Tutty. I'm looking at that. No matter there's nobody's name on it, and I'm gonna sit here and be like, he had an okay game.
Hold on.
I'm not saying
What's crazy is he threw for more than Josh did against Mahomes. And move on. Josh ain't even cracked 200. Josh ain't even cracked 200.
Hold on. Context.
Because we want
had-
to no,
That's
no,
context matters.
No,
Don't do
forget
that.
this context because we want to put it on whether it's elite or not. He did more than Josh. We can move on.
He didn't do more than Josh.
We can move on.
He didn't.
We can move on. I don't know. I don't know because
That's
we
surface level thinking.
No, it's not surface level
It
thinking
is.
because you're sitting here saying
No,
255 and a tutty
because that's
ain't enough.
Yeah, that's surface level thinking from him too.
You're not looking at you're
yes.
not using context for either one.
I got you. Look. And hold on. Hold on. I got y'all.
no.
Because how many yards per game did the Chiefs allow passing in general? If Brock Purdy was right along with everybody else or exceeded what they typically allow, then I definitely think that that's a good game. Hold on, have fun.
Lamar had 272 in the tutty. So.
He barely had. He almost eclipsed the league MVP.
Same
It's terrible.
So, we sat here, we looked at Lamar and said his performance was terrible. And then we're gonna flip it over to this side, and we're gonna be like, he had a good game enough to win. And all I'm saying is he had an okay game. I didn't even say it was bad. I just said he had an okay game. And y'all mad at that.
Yeah.
Y'all mad at
Lamar
that.
turned the ball
I
over.
understand that. I'm not saying anything negative about Purdy.
You're
said
not.
it was an okay game. And y'all salty.
God, that is.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like he's getting the credit that he deserves. You didn't.
I said he had an okay game.
Look,
And he gonna sit here and act like all I know is the Bills offense, if you want to do that, they put up 27. 24, sorry. 24. All right, like in 4 quarters. Like, what are we talking about? There's not even a comparison. You just want to take jabs for no reason.
The Chiefs in the regular season gave up 176.5 yards passing per game.
Besides the Bills.
They gave up 100. They gave up 176 yards passing per game.
How much?
176.5 passing yards per game in the regular season. Let's see what they did in the playoffs. But that if Brock Purdy lose 255 in a touchdown versus that defense.
No, Brock Purdy, if you want to talk about like QBR and like quarterbacks playing against the Chiefs defense in the playoffs, Brock Purdy did play the best of any quarterback in the playoffs against the Chiefs. He played the best.
Including the league MVP. 2-time league MVP.
In the playoffs, they were allowing 225 a game.
No,
Brock threw 255.
But no turnovers. Like
he's including his Brock Purdy. The Brock
they turned
Purdy
over
game.
every quarterback they played up to Brock.
Except for Josh.
Okay game.
Except for Josh. Josh actually didn't have him.
And even if you were comparing it to Josh, I'm gonna sit here and be like, we all agreed that there were 3 drops that would change his numbers.
I agree. Context.
If you want to,
he was stooping to your surface level thinking. No,
saying that's I as somebody who has to play him.
I heard what you said.
Year in and year out, I know that that's not good enough. To get past him,
I got you. On surface level, it's not good enough. And it hasn't been good enough. It hasn't been. But
that's not good enough. That's sitting here saying. Continue to sit here and say that you need to play at an elite level to beat Mahomes.
Their team is not built around Purdy, though. That's
why I didn't have winning.
I feel you. But for context,
so it's also why
they could have that. The 49ers specifically could have that game from Brock Purdy, and they absolutely be fine because that's not the strength of their team. He did his job, his role on his team.
He's one of the few players that did it.
But in terms of how you speak on quarterbacks in general, not everybody has this system where they can run that. So yes, that's not going to be enough. And even in this game, it wasn't enough.
Look, at the end of the day,
I don't think it's on Purdy.
I'm just not understanding why we can't sit here and look at it and say for some teams that stat line may be good enough.
But it's not.
For the Niners, it may be because of the weaponry that is around a certain mode of quarterback. For other teams, 255 and the tutty from Lamar, that ain't enough to beat. That ain't enough. because you
That was
know
enough for Lamar.
because you give the level of quarterback play. That's why
I think it's
there's a
the system.
complete difference.
I think just
If you're
specifically for the
gonna
Niners.
say that that's enough for Purdy, I think we can say it's enough for Lamar only because if they're able to run the ball like they usually do, that 250 could be enough.
Because I look at how these teams execute offensively. Okay, I know that 255 and a tutty from Purdy may be enough because of how they offense execute in certain manners. In most times, when it comes to the Ravens, it may be different. If I see 255 and a tutty from Burrow, I'm sitting there thinking, ugh.
Well,
The
but
Chiefs might have the lead there because I know how their offense executes.
Look,
I know how that quarterback plays to a certain level.
We've never seen Mahomes lose in the playoffs to a team like that.
I get that. But I also recognize that there are different styles with different teams, with different quarterbacks, with different plays.
And what style has been winning?
What style has been winning?
What style has been winning?
Against who? Against Mahomes?
Just the last several Super Bowl champions.
The style that's been winning has been the air down.
I mean,
that's all Cordell's saying.
If you want to sit here and say that, sure.
I agree with you that because I think that Lamar in this system can go and win a Super Bowl, but when they got out of their game plan and try to play a game that Lamar had no business trying.
Right.
That's what I was saying.
Well, to me, where I feel like offense was not a thing was that Rams
Patriots. Yeah, it came down to the defenses. It came down to which defense in that particular game. I'm looking at the Rams defense and saying, man, as well as y'all played, y'all gave up some key plays late that cost you the game. But of course,
the offense only scored 30.
I get that, but still, you didn't give up a 40-yard play until the last drive of the game. Like, I just need one stop. I
I gave you.
I just need one stop to play, man. God damn. We keep letting these defenses off the hook, man.
You can only stop somebody for
Bro, one sack could have done what last night?
I mean, they had a lot of sacks in the beginning.
But on those final two drives, on fourth down, a Nick Bosa tackle on that third and 1 would have done what?
I mean, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's just one.
Mahomes he made it where
he did, but I'm saying that's what I'm paying. I'm paying you, bro. Give me a stop. Like that's it. You give me one tackle. You give me one pass breakup. We're going home champions.
This is
it, guys.
Nobody's on a different tier.
That's it, guys.
Guys can't stop it.
That Chiefs defense, they didn't go out there last week and said, "Hey, man, this Lamar, this the MVP." No, we gonna turn them over in the red zone. I don't care. We gonna get what necessary stop we need. Ain't that right, C-Mac?
Mahomes is in his own tier. Mahomes in his own tier. Again, the 49ers defense, there was nobody open. Mahomes started running.
That Chiefs defense ain't played Miami and said, man, they've been scoring all year, so we might as well. No, what happened? What happened? Your Chiefs defense had the lead up 3 in the fourth quarter against the Bills. You didn't go out there and say, guys, this is Josh. You gotta let him score. What you do? What you do in that fourth quarter? I don't care. Answer my question, C-Mac. What you do?
We know.
Oh, okay. All right.
Capital mode.
Okay. All right. Because that's what you paid. That's what Chris Jones is paid to do. Give me a stop.
He saved like 3 touchdowns.
Oh, okay. All right.
To Chris Jones.
We can move on.
We don't have a holding call too. That was crazy. Yeah, go ahead, Cordell.
All right, Joe. It's been a great season.
Phenomenal season.
Oh, it's been a
What is
3?
The 3rd ring.
This Flash.
Oh, you're talking about because he has 3 rings.
I was thinking about 3 feet.
No, I ain't talking about.
Oh, nah. Talk to me. I'll be bullish. Hey man. I hope that we're gonna, be talking about the draft. I'm excited about the draft. I've been more excited about the offseason than the actual Super Bowl. Super Bowl's emotionally training.
Think about the draft.
24. You spoiled. You've been a blessed fan these last couple of years. You had to go through for a little bit. So I guess you earned it.
I'm gonna wrap it up.
Go ahead.
So again, thank you all for being part of Outspoken. Please like, subscribe, share. For me, Cordell,
Marcus,
D-Rock,
those
3-time.
That's some post.
Oh, you're not gonna say the whole easy breezy beautiful? You ain't gonna.